Hello guys, welcome back to part 2 of making Procedural Dungeon Generator using C++ for Unreal Engine 5. In this part we are going to create a look for our rooms, and also we are going to basically create some kind of starter spawn rooms logic. So yeah, we are going to spawn starter room that is always going to be spawned, and we are going to attach just one room to the basically random side of that room. So yeah, you get the point. So for me that's some kind of starter spawn rooms logic. You're going to see a little bit later. And also, like I said, we're going to create a look for our blueprints. Okay, so we're going to do that by using components that we have created in the previous part. So yeah, let's basically do that right now. The first thing that I'm going to do is launch my Unreal Engine. And here we are inside our Unreal Engine. The first thing that I'm going to do is basically close down these notifications. So we need to go to our pdg_files folder, and here we have one blueprint actor that is basically our dungeon room 1. And basically a little bit later we are going to create a rest of the blueprint actors for all of our rooms. Okay, so dungeon room 2, 3, 4, 5. And these 5 rooms are not all the versions of the rooms that we are going to create in this series. So yeah, we are going to have our rooms that are connecting first with the second floor. Also we are going to have some kind of non-square room. So I'm just going to show you that you can create anything that you want. And yeah, you basically get the point. Let's go back to our pdg_files folder. Let's open our bp_dungeon room 1. And by the way, don't worry about this. I was just testing something out because I wanted to see what is the best size for our rooms. Of course, you can adjust some of your settings, so that's on you basically. I'm just here to show you the main concept of making this system. So you will see that when I open this blueprint, it is going to be just an empty blueprint. So let's open it. Okay, click on Open Full Blueprint Editor, and we need to go to our viewport. Like I said, we are going to use these components that we have created in the previous part. So these static meshes, we are going to fill basically these components we are going to fill with the static meshes and also add to them some materials because we are going to make them look more prettier. We are going to basically do a small work about that, because like I said, I'm not going to waste time on making things look prettier. So yeah, we're just going to attach some of the materials to our meshes. So yeah, let's basically start now. Okay, so let's click on the floor. The first thing that we are going to do is create a floor. So let's basically click on the floor component. Here on the right side in the details panel, from the drop down menu in the static mesh, we need to search for SM cube. Okay, and there it is. I'm just going to reset these options. Okay, so basically the options that I have found and that are perfect for me are basically here in the scale. Click on this lock, so click on it, and here we need to type 20, and we need to unlock that lock. Okay, and for the Z value of our scale we need to set it to be 0. So maybe it looks pretty big to you, but don't worry, we'll see later that that is pretty good size. Like I said, you can adjust some of your settings and your size. Just play with these settings on the right side in the details panel. I'm going to compile it, and here I'm going to change material. So I'm going to search for basic asset 02. So there it is. Maybe later we are going to change material again. I don't know, we will see. Okay, the next thing that we are going to create are basically walls, and like I said in the previous part, maybe these components we can name something like walls, but not cubes. Okay, but we're going to still get what we want, and I think that that is not important at the moment. So if it makes more sense to you and it is less confusing you, just change the names to wall 1, wall 2, and etc. All to the wall 8. So yeah, you get the point. For the cube 1, here on the right side, I'm going to search for SM cube. Okay. And I'm going to compile. I'm going to search for basic asset 02 material. Okay, and I'm just going to move a little bit up. Okay, and I'm going to make it bigger or higher. And I'm going to make it also wider. So I'm going to do something like this. So I think that is pretty all right. If some of the options, if we don't like some of the options later when we are testing it out, we can just basically back to our blueprint and adjust size again. So yeah, don't worry about that. Maybe make it more higher. So I think that's good. So here in the cube 2, and also here in the static mesh, I'm going to search for SM underscore cube. I'm going to compile blueprint, and for the materials I'm going to search for basic asset 02. Okay, and I'm going to click on this cube 1, and I'm going to basically copy these options and paste it for basically our cube 2. So I'm just also, so the locations the location for the Z is 100, so I don't need to copy that. I'm just going to type it, and I'm going to move it right there. So yeah, let me just do something like this. So okay, I'm actually going to make it smaller. So these doors are going to be bigger. So I'm going to set it to be 3. Oh, not 3. Why? So actually that is for the height, but here for the X value I'm going to set something to be like 6.5. Okay, and for the cube 1 also, so 6.5. I think that's pretty alright. So let me just see if that is good, and that is actually. So you will see that our doors are going to be basically bigger. Okay, so that space where we can just walk through is going to be bigger. For the cube 3, we are going to basically again copy all of the options, and I think that I'm going to skip this part. I'm just going to make 4 of these spaces where you can just walk through, and I'm going to show you the final results. I have showed you the options for these 2 walls, and you can basically adjust these same options to the rest of walls. Okay, so I'm just going to skip this part and see you when it's done. Okay guys, so I have finished this room, so there's a few last steps that we need to do, but before that I want to show you how our room is going to look. So like I said, we are going to have these 4 spaces where you can just walk through. So yeah, in these empty spaces later in some other part we're going to add the doors. Yeah, basically do something like this. So create our room something like this, and a little bit later we are going to create our room with basically this space right here is going to be an enter, and if you take a closer look you will see that we have 3 exits. So yeah, and we are going for the rest of these rooms. So let me just show you. So dungeon room 2, dungeon room 3, 4 and 5, we are going to have, for example, 2 exits. For the 3rd room we are going to have 1 here, for the 4th 1 here, for the 5th 1 here, and basically you get the point. So yeah, and basically The next thing that we need to do, okay, so we need to basically adjust the size of our arrow component. So here on the right side in the details panel, for the arrow size, we are going to set it to be something like 6.5, okay, and basically you can adjust this setting right here in the C++, but I think that is not actually necessary, because we are not actually using any blueprints here. We are just using the help of the Unreal editor. So yeah, just change that settings here. But if you want to do it otherwise by using code, so you can just get the reference of our arrow component and get arrow size, so arrow size value, and change it to the value that you want. Okay. So I'm just going now to center it. So let me just see. I'm going to center it to be in the center of this room. So something like this. Okay. And I'm just actually going to increase the size. I'm going to set something to be like 10. So yeah, this is actually good. Like I said, I'm going to try to center it. Okay. And I'm going to move a little bit down, something like this, and yeah, that's pretty alright, okay. So basically this arrow component is not necessary, it is just showing the X direction of our room. So yeah, it is showing basically that this is the enter, and yeah, basically the X direction is in this direction right there. So yeah, specifically this room has 3 exits, so I said it, and I'm sorry if I talk too much. I'm just really trying to explain some things as much as I can. So yeah, I hope you don't mind it. I'm just trying to be helpful, okay? The next thing that we need to basically adjust is this box collision component. So like I said, this box collision component is basically going to get triggered whenever the latest spawned room is spawned on some other room that is spawned previously, and when we come into that situation, our latest room that is spawned is going to be basically destroyed or removed, and it is going to be basically added in some other place where it can be added. So yeah, you get the point. I know that I can't show you anything and basically explain you it very well to you, but don't worry, I'm going to explain it again with a good example. So yeah, so we need to increase the size of our box collision. We are going to click on this lock for the scale. We are going here to type 30. And we are going to unlock that lock. So here for the Z value of our scale, we are going to just type 1. Here in the top left corner, we are just going to click on the perspective, and we are going to go to top, and we need to set it to be something like this. So yeah, you see, it needs to be in the whole room. So basically this box collision is a little bit smaller than our room, but that is something that we actually want. And our box collision is needed to be placed something like this. So yeah, not like this, but like this, because whenever the latest spawned room is spawned, it is going to be spawned there, and it is going to trigger this box collision. So yeah, you get the point. Basically, we have set up the first dungeon room. So yeah, we can now finally do with other rooms, and I'm going to basically explain you why we have created a separate C++ child classes, and then from these C++ child classes why we have created basically separate blueprint classes. So don't worry, I know that I said that I'm going to explain that in the first part, so don't worry, again I'm going to explain it. Okay. The next thing that we need to do is go to our pdg_files, and the next thing that we're going to do is basically we're going to duplicate this BP 4 more times. So yeah, let's just click Control D. So now we have BP_dungeon room 2, BP_dungeon room 3, BP_dungeon room 4, and BP_dungeon room 5. Okay, so let me finally explain you why we are creating separate C++ class. Okay guys, so basically we have created one room-based parent class. So basically we have declared the variables and the components that all the rooms are going to use. Yeah, you get the point. And basically the reason why we have declared separate C++ child classes is because that some of the classes are going to have the different components, and those are just a few, like 2 to 3 different components. And yeah, basically that's the thing why we have created C++ child classes. In them we are going to declare again some of the variables that we are going to use. For example, in this room right here we are going to have 3 exits. And we are actually going to use arrow components to get the location of that arrow components, and then we are going to know that in that location that there is an exit of that room. And basically in this room we will have 3 exits and 3 arrows. So in this C++ child class we need to declare 3 arrow components. In this RB Dungeon Room 2 we are going to have, for example, 2 exits, and we need to declare 2 arrow components. And also we need to create another component that will be another wall. So here, for example, if we want these 2 exits, we need to fill this hole in order to get basically 2 exits. And yeah, basically, like I said, rooms are going to have some of the different components, and we have already in the main class declared all the components that all the classes are going to that basically all the classes, all the rooms are going to use. So yeah, you get to the point now, no more talking. The next thing that we need to do is basically we need to reparent our blueprint actors. So for example, if I click basically if I open my Dungeon Room 2, you will see that the parent class of our Dungeon Room 2 is Dungeon Room 1, so that is something that we don't want. And if I, for example, open my Dungeon Room 4, you will see that the parent class is Dungeon Room 1. So yeah, let's fix that right now. First, let's fix our Dungeon Room 2. So open it and then go to class settings. And here in the on the right side in the details panel, for the parent class, we need to search for RB Dungeon Room 2. Okay, so just click on reparent. Okay, and anything that we write in our RB Dungeon Room 2 is going to work along with our blueprint actor Dungeon Room 2, okay, because that blueprint is a child of our RB Dungeon Room 2. So yeah, you get the point. Okay, so let's now open our BP Dungeon Room 3. So let's do the same process. Go to class settings, search for RB Dungeon Room 3. Okay, so click on reparent, compile. The next thing is basically open our BP underscore Dungeon Room 4 class settings, and we need to search for RB Dungeon Room 4. Okay, so click just on reparent. The next and the last room is basically this Dungeon Room 5, so just click on Open Full Blueprint Editor, Class Settings, and we need to search for RB underscore Dungeon Room 5. So just click on Reparent, and yeah, basically we have done all the work here in the editor for now. The next thing that we need to do is basically we need to declare some of the variables inside our Visual Studio for all the other rooms in order to make the room that we want. Like I said, in some other rooms we're going to have less exits, okay, and we need to exits that are empty, or basically exits that we do not want. We want to fill that empty place with walls, so that is also a component that we need to declare, okay. So basically, if I declared all of that inside the room base, we would have all those components in all of these classes, and yeah, basically that's not something that we want, because those components are basically just going to be empty, and yeah, okay. So basically, you get the point. And I noticed that I didn't show you one thing that is very important. So just open your blueprint and go to your viewport. And something that is very important is go to your in the top left corner, click on perspective and click top. Now something that is very important is that your room is just next to this red line right here. So room, okay, so room is next to this green line. It is basically colliding with each other. Okay, so make sure that your room is just like mine. So yeah, that is something that is very important. And before doing any code, I just want to basically drag one of our rooms, and I want to basically see how big our room is, and I know how big it is. I just want to show it to you. So I'm going to drag something like this, and I'm going to start my simulation, and you will see how big is our room. I think that this is pretty alright for our room. Maybe our walls are a little bit tall, but never mind. It is going to do the work just fine. Okay. So okay, I showed you. Now we can finally declare something that we want. And also, I'm just saying, guys, that we have just need to write some code. But I also noticed that I didn't mention how we are going to basically. What is the point and what is the logic behind the exits in this room? So I said that we are going to use arrows, but let me just explain you in the details. Okay, guys. So we are going to use this arrow component, not exactly this. We are going to declare new ones that are going to be just on the exit. And basically, in the previous part, I was explaining things about these folders. So I said that in these folders you can basically get the children components, and basically we are going to for each exit we are going to declare arrow component. So in this situation, in this room, we are going to have 3 exit arrows, and we are going to store them inside a new folder, and that is a folder that I didn't want to create in the previous part. I waited till this moment. So yeah, I just want to tell you what we are going to use it for. And basically we are going to store it in that folder, so later when we are finding a random location, so when we are finding a random exit where we are going to basically attach the next room, we are going to basically search throughout that folder, okay, and yeah, basically that's the reason why we are creating these folders, one of the reasons. So yeah, basically we are using arrow components, and we are going to get a random of those exit arrows components, and we are going to get location of that component, and basically in that location we are going to spawn another room. So I hope you get to the point. I just wanted to say, guys, that I'm really sorry if I'm talking too much. I'm really just trying to explain as much as I can, and I hope you don't mind it. So now let's go to our code editor and declare the components that we need for each of our rooms. So yeah. Okay, guys, here we are in our code editor. The first thing that we are going to do is basically create another folder. So like I said, we are going to create a separate folder for our exit arrow components. So basically from these arrow components we're going to know how many exits that specified spawned room have. Okay, so let's just copy one of these, and I'm going to name it exit points folder, so something like that. I'm going to copy that and go to .cpp folder. So the first thing that we're going to do is create a default sub object for that exit points folder. So I'm going to name it same as this, and the next thing that I'm going to do is attach that folder to basically default scene root folder. So I'm just going to copy this right here, and I want to show you what we have did here. So let me just compile my code and launch our Unreal Engine. Okay, so it is compiled, and now let's launch it. Okay, so here we are in our Unreal Engine. So for example, if I open my BP underscore dungeon room 3, so let's wait a little bit. Okay, open full blueprint editor, and on the left side you will see that we have a new folder, exit points folder, that is attached to our default scene root folder. And again, okay, we are going just to store the arrow components that we are going to create in that exit points folder. Okay, so yeah, let's just close Unreal Engine and do that right now. Basically, the class where we are going to declare first components will be this BP RB, actually Dungeon Room 1. So the components that we are going to declare will be just 3 arrow components. So we need to give those specifiers. So the first will be visible anywhere, and the second one will be category. So category will be basically just components, and it will be a class of U arrow component. So don't forget this asterisk. So I'm just going to name it exit arrow 1. Okay, so something like that. And we need to copy and paste that 2 more times. I'm just going to change it to exit arrow 2 and exit arrow 3. And if I go to my .cpp file, you will see that there's not a place where I can just write my code. It is just empty with this include right here. So we need to fix that. We basically need to declare a constructor. I don't know if I mentioned or not, but the difference between constructor and begin play is that constructor is being initialized whenever we compile our editor, and begin play is whenever we start our simulation. So yeah, basically the way we can do that is typing ARB underscore dungeon 1. So here it is, our constructor, and now we need to create a definition, or basically a code block where we are going to write some of the code, line of codes. So right click on it, quick actions and refactorings, and then create a definition. So yeah, as you see, we have now this code block right here. So the first step that we're going to do is create a default sub object for these components. So create default sub object. The class is U arrow component, and I'm going to name it something like, just write text because we need to put it inside the string. I'm going to name it exit arrow 1. Okay, so yeah, we need to do that for other 2 exit arrows. So not that, but that. So exit arrow 2, exit arrow 3. So here exit arrow 2, exit arrow 3, and basically we are going to attach those components to our exit point folder. But okay, so let's just go to our .cpp file, and I'm going to search for setup attachment function, but there is no actually a setup. There's no suggestions for our setup attachment function, because we need to basically include that arrow component. So yeah, you can do that by writing by typing actually include, and from the components folder we need to search for arrow component. Okay, and the red line will disappear. So set up set up attachment. Okay, and we are going to store that in exit points folder. So just basically just like that. And we need to do that for, yeah, you guessed other two exit arrows. So yeah, and basically we have done the work for this class right here. So later I'm going to show you what we have did here. And for some reason my OBS crashed, but never mind. Now the next step is to basically declare some of the components for our RB Dungeon Room 2. So basically we need to declare two exit arrow components and one wall, because in this room we are going to have two exit arrows and one wall that is going to fill the empty space. Okay, so for the one additional useless exit that we are not going to actually use, so in the .header file, the first thing that we need to do is specify public. Okay, we need basically a constructor, and I'm not going to explain again what we are doing here. I'm just going to write some of the code because I want to save us some time. So here we are just going to type view property visible anywhere, and a category is going to be basically components. Components. Okay, components. And we're just going to type view arrow component, and I'm going to name it exit arrow 1. So okay, we are going to have two exit arrows. So okay, and we are going to have one static mesh, so basically a wall that is going to fill an empty place. So u static mesh component, and I'm going to name it something like closing wall. Okay, and by the way, that closing wall we are going to basically attach to our geometry folder. So that is this folder right here, and we are going to attach it with all the other geometries. So yeah, you get the point. And let's basically create a definition for our constructor. So yeah, basically the first thing that we are going to do is create a default sub object for our components. So create a default sub object. Here we need uArrow component, and on the end we need just text, and in the text we need a name for our component that will be something like exit arrow 1. Okay, and we need to do that for the rest of our components. So this is exit arrow 2, this will be basically closing wall. Okay, this will be also closing wall, closing underscore wall. Okay, here we need a different class that will be uStatic mesh component, and here we just basically need to include our arrow component. So from the components folder we are just going to include the arrow component, and we need now to attach those components to a folder where they need to be attached. So we need setup attachment. Okay, this exit arrow I'm going to attach to exit points folder, and also I'm going to attach exit arrow 2 to the same folder, but closing wall we are going to attach to basically geometry folder. So set up attachment geometry folder. Okay, so basically we have did all the work that we need for now. The idea for the rest of the rooms is basically here in this Dungeon Room 3. I'm going to create a room where the exit will be on the right side, so basically the one exit and the two closing walls. And in the dungeon room 4, I'm going to create a room where the exit will be on the left side, so two closing walls. And for the RB dungeon room 5, I'm going to create also one exit, so that will be the straight exit. This dungeon room 5 is also will be of a different shape because we want to break monotony. So yeah, and basically that's the idea for the rest of the rooms. So let's go to RB dungeon room 3. The first thing that I'm going to do is declare a public. Okay, I'm going to declare a constructor for which we are going to create a definition right now. The next thing that I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to declare, wait, let me just copy this. So let me just copy this because why not? So we're just going to save some time. Like I said, we are going to have one exit arrow, so one exit point, and two closing walls. So let me just here type u static mesh component, and also here I'm going here to type closing wall 1 because now we have two closing walls, closing wall 2, and I'm just going to actually copy all of this because I'm going to later to paste it in the dungeon room 4 and 5. Okay, so now in the CPP file I'm going to, for the exit arrow, so what is this actually? Exit arrow 1. I'm going to create a default sub object, so the class is u arrow component, and on the end I'm just going to give it a name that will be basically exit arrow 1. Okay, so now we have closing wall 1 and closing wall 2, so equals so let me just copy this and paste it, and we need that for closing wall 2. Okay, so the basically class that we need will be u static mesh component. Okay, so this right here. Here we are just going to set the name to be closing underscore wall underscore 1. And I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste it here, but we need the closing wall 2, and now we need to attach them to the folder where they needs to be attached. Okay, but before that we need to include our arrow component, so components arrow component, and for the exit arrow 1 I'm going to attach it, so set up attachment. I'm going to attach it to exit points folder. Okay, closing wall 1 and closing wall 2 I'm going to attach to geometry folder, so set up attachment. I'm going to type geometry folder, and also I'm going to do that for our closing wall 2, and now I can basically copy all of these codes. So I'm just going to copy that, go to my RB dungeon room 4, do something like this, basically just change our constructor to be a RB underscore dungeon room 4. I'm going to create a definition for that constructor, and I'm going to copy all of these codes, so because everything's the same. Okay, so just the position of our exit is going to be different, so we need to include arrow component from the components folder. I'm going to basically include arrow component, and we need to do that for our RB dungeon room 5. Okay, so let me just copy all of these code to RB dungeon room 5. Okay, so dungeon room 5, I'm going to create a definition for that constructor, and from the CPP file of dungeon room 4 I'm going to copy all of this because we are going to save us some time. And okay, not that actually, what I have done. Not that. So okay, let me just close this down. I'm just going here to include from the components folder, like I'm going again to include arrow components, so components, arrow component, and now finally I think that we can test it out, and I can finally show you what we have did here. So let me just compile my code, and after that I'm going to basically launch my Unreal Engine. So yeah, let's wait a little bit. And actually I've got this error right here, so in the dungeon room 2. So let me see what's wrong. I think that I have did writing mistake, and yeah, I actually did. So I typed exit arrow 1 2 times. So yeah, let me just check if I did that in the other classes. So I think I did not. So let's basically just again compile our code and launch our Unreal Engine. So there's no any errors. Okay, so cool, and let's basically launch our Unreal Engine. Okay guys, so basically if I open my content drawer and then basically just to go, for example, into our BP_Dungeon Room 4, let me just open full blueprint editor, and on the left side you will see that actually we have created exit points folder. So yeah, I showed you already, and in that folder we have a children component of exit arrow 1. So like I said, we are going to create this room to have one exit, for example on the right side, so in this exit right here, and basically we need two components, two static mesh components that are going to fill these places with walls, and those components are these: closing wall 1, closing wall 2. So basically static meshes that we have attached to our geometry folder. Okay, so throughout the child classes, child C++ classes. Okay, so basically you get to the point, and now let's basically just create our rooms how we want. And I'm going to say something that you can create whatever room you want, and you can create a room with as much exits as you want. So yeah, you just needs to be creative. Okay, but I suggest you that for now follow my steps and create rooms like mine. Okay, so let me just close this BP_Dungeon Room 4. Let me just go to my Dungeon Room 1, and if you take a look here, we have 3 arrow components. So like I said, this room is going to have 3 exits, so no closing walls needed. So let's basically just adjust the position of these 3 exits arrows. Okay, so for the exit arrow 1, we are going to increase size. So let me just see what is the size of this. Okay, so 10.0. For the exit arrow 1, we're going to set something like, I don't know, maybe 3. Okay, so or basically 4. No, 3 is pretty fine. And I'm going to basically change the color of that arrow to something like some greenish color. Okay, so something like this. And I'm going to copy this hex linear code, and I'm just going to click on OK. And now we need to basically adjust the position. Okay, so set the appropriate position, and basically it is something like this. And the one very important thing is that the z value of our location needs to be at 0. So this right here. Okay, so this is 10 and this is 0. And let me just see. This is not in the center. We are going to do something like this, and later we are going to see if our rooms, other rooms, are getting attached to our room in the good position. If it's not, we're just going to adjust the position, so maybe something like this, and I think that this is actually a center. So the next thing that we are basically going to do is this exit arrow 2, so we need again to adjust the size and position. So size is 3. I'm going to click on this color, and I'm going to paste the hex cleaner color. I'm going to click on OK, and I need just to rotate it, so something like this by minus 90 degrees, okay? And I need to basically adjust it to be something in the center. So I'm using the help of these grid lines, okay? And let me just see. So the last arrow is this right here. So basically I'm going to paste the hex cleaner code. I'm going to increase the size of arrow size. Okay, and let me just get the position of basically location. And I'm going to paste it here. I'm just going to rotate it something like this, so by 90 degrees, okay? And I'm going to move it here. So let me just adjust the best position. So yeah, it is actually colliding with our room. So basically this is something that we want. So the look of the first room is going to be something like this. So we have finally created exit arrows. So now we need to do that for all the other rooms. So let me just click on one of my arrows and again copy this hex cleaner code of color of those arrows. So let me just go to dungeon room 2. Basically the idea for this room is that I'm going to have 2 exits, so one of the left side and one of the right side, and the straight way exit I'm just going to fill with a closing wall. Okay, so let's do that first. So let me just search for SM cube. Okay, let's just compile our code, and okay, so let me just for the materials set it to be basic asset 02, and let me see. Okay, so I'm going to copy and scale options, so I'm going to paste it here. For the Z value of our location, I'm going to set it to be 100, and I'm going to basically rotate it by 90 degrees, so something like this, and I'm going to adjust the best location for that wall. So let me just see. Okay, something like this, and I think that I need to increase basically increase size, or basically the width of our wall. So for the X value I'm going to set something like 8, okay? And yeah, so now we have filled basically that exit that we are not going to use, and now we need to set or basically adjust the position for rest of these exit arrows. So yeah, I'm going to basically just for the arrow size I'm going to set it to be 3. Let me just go to my dungeon 1, click on my arrow. So what's this? Okay, and I'm going to just copy this hex cleaner code. I'm going to paste it here for the color, and I'm going to do that right now for the second arrow. Okay, so for the first arrow we need to center it, so to be something like this. Okay, and that's pretty good. I'm going to basically click on the exit arrow 2, increase the size. I'm going to rotate it, and basically I'm going to set it to be on the other side because the exit is on that side right here. So let me just see, something like this, like I said, and I'm going to say it again. I'm using the help of these grid lines, and that's actually pretty good. So yeah, that's pretty good place for our exit arrows. Now we need to do that for the dungeon room 3. Okay, so open full blueprint editor. Idea for this room is that we are going to have one exit on this side right here, and we are going to fill these two exits. So okay, let me just see. Okay, so let's just fill an empty exits, or basically exits that we are not going to use. So here for the closing wall 1, I'm going to search for static mesh SM cube, and let me just say, I'm going to search for basic asset 02 material. Okay, so let's basically compile, and I'm actually going to again copy the scale value of our closing wall from the dungeon room 2, and I'm going to paste it for the closing wall 1 inside our dungeon room 3. So let's just paste it. For the z value of our location, I'm going to set it to 100. And okay, so I said that we're going to have one exit here, so I need to fill these exits. So for the closing wall 2, again the same process, nothing's changed. Okay, so let's compile. I'm just going to set the material to be basic asset 02. I'm going to copy scale values, and I'm just going to paste it here. For the location, z value is going to be 100. I'm going to rotate it for 90 degrees, and now I just need to adjust it to be right here. Okay, so something like this. So that's pretty fine. And now for the exit arrow 1, first thing that I'm going to do is increase the size of a tree. I'm going to basically move that arrow to a place where it needs to be moved. So something like this. I'm going to rotate it by 90 degrees. I'm going to set it something like this to collide with our room, and I'm going to say it again. The z value of our location needs to be 0. Okay, so you get the point. And I just need to basically change the color of that arrow. So okay, let me just paste that in this hex cleaner. So yeah, that's pretty fine. I'm going to compile it and save it. I'm going to compile here for the dungeon 2 and compile here this BP dungeon room 1 and save all. Now let's go to our BP dungeon room 4. So the idea is something opposite of the previous room. I'm just going to have one exit here. Okay. So that means that we need to fill up these two exits. Okay, so for the closing wall 1, I'm just going to search for static mesh SM cube, and for the material, I'm going to search for basic asset 02. Okay, from the previous blueprint, I'm going to copy, or actually, so 8 1 4. I'm just going to type them. So 8 1 4. Okay, the z value of our location is 100, and wait, let me see something. So okay, so we are going to have one exit here. Let me just fill these holes. Okay, so something like that, and that is pretty fine. For this closing wall 2, same process. I'm going to search for SM cube. I'm going to compile my blueprint. Again, search for my material basic asset 02. For the scale value, I'm going to type 8 1 4. For the z value of our location, I'm going to type 100, and I need to fill this hole right here. So let me just rotate my wall by 90 degrees. Okay, so something like this, and I'm going to, for this exit arrow 1, actually I'm going to set it to be right here. First I'm going to increase the size. I'm going to copy the hex linear code, so something like this. I'm going to move it, and I'm going to center it. Okay, so I'm first rotating it, I'm going to center it, and I think that that's pretty fine, and that is actually. So let's compile it and save it. And for BP Dungeon Room 5, we are going to do something specific. We are going to do basically, that's not a big deal, but we are just going to do some kind of a different shape, okay? So the thing that I'm going to do is basically just follow my steps, and you will see what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something like this. So I don't know, but maybe some kind of a bridge. So I don't know, some kind of a bridge for this room. Okay, so let me just do something like this. I'm just trying to center it. I'm not okay, so something like this. I think that these options are pretty fine. So the thing that I'm going to do is for these two walls, the x value of our scale I'm going to set to be 1, and for these two, also for these two walls too, okay? So, okay. Okay, and I'm just going to do something like this, okay? So let me just adjust the position, and for these two walls, we need sorry, we need to do also we need to do the same thing. So something like this. I'm just going to move this right there, and for the scale, for the y value, I'm just going to set something like 0.5. Okay, I'm just going to move it something like this. And for this wall, I'm also going for the scale value to set it to 0.5. Okay, so I'm just going to do something like this. I don't know if it's centered. I think that's not actually, but never mind. We are going to do something like this. And for closing wall 1, I'm just going to search for SM cube, and I'm going to compile. I'm going to search for basic asset 02. I'm going to compile from one of these walls. Okay, so I actually need to move a little bit to the left to, okay, and I'm going to copy scale values and paste it here for the closing wall 1. So let's just do that. For the z value of our location, I'm going to set to be 100. And I'm just going to do something like this. Okay, so I actually need to increase the x value of our scale, so something like maybe 8. Okay, so we're going to do something like this, and basically the same process on the other side. Okay, so let's just click on this. I'm going to for the y value of our scale, I'm going to set it to be 0.5. I'm going to do just something like this. So okay, so that's pretty fine. I'm going to do the same thing for this wall right here. So 0.5. Okay, something like this. And for the closing wall 2, I'm just going to copy these scale values. I'm going to, for the closing wall 2, I'm going to paste them, and I just need to search for SM cube. I'm just going to compile and search for basic asset 02. For the z value of our location, I need to set it to be 100. And I'm going to move it a little bit to the right. So okay, so I think that this is pretty fine. And the last thing, or actually we have two last things that we need to do, but first I'm just going to adjust the size and position of our exit arrow. So the arrow size needs to be 3. Basically the color, I'm going to copy again the hex linear code from our previous blueprint. I'm going to paste it for this arrow and this BP Dungeon Room 5, and I'm going to adjust the location. So something like this. Let me see. so something like this. Okay, we just see if that's centered, and that is actually. And the next thing that we need to do, basically, we need to decrease basically a size. Basically, we need to decrease a y value, the y value of our box collision. So something like 15, and yeah, actually we are going to decrease it to something like 13. Okay, so let me just see if that's all right. Okay, so maybe like 12. Okay, and yeah, basically that's perfect for this dungeon room 5. And we have created something unusual, so we want to break monotony. And basically, guys, we can now finally step to the part where we can just create a spawn logic, so some kind of starter spawn room logic. And again, I'm going to say what we're going to do. We're going to basically spawn this dungeon room 1. So for now, that is going to be our starter room, and we are going to basically get a random exit arrow from this exit points folder, and we are going to attach one of these rooms, so random one of these rooms, okay, to one of these exit points. And yeah, basically that will be the last thing that we are going to use, so that we are going to create actually. And the way that we are going to do is that now I can finally close it. I'm just going to compile it and check if all the other blueprints are saved and compiled, and they are. The way we are going to do that, basically we are just going to create another C++ class. So that class, let's do that right now. So in the C++ class folder, in this folder right here, I'm just going to right click and click on new C++ class. That is going to be actor, and just click on next. So this C++ class will be basically how we are going to name it, something like dungeon generator. Did I spell it well? And yes, I did. So basically this blueprint, not blueprint, but in this class we are going to basically type all the logic for spawning our rooms. So yeah, we are going to do that in this dungeon generator. So yeah, I hope you get to the point, and if you don't, you will see later. But guys, please, if anything is unclear, feel free to reach to us now throughout our Discord server. Now we have created our Discord server, and basically the link is down below in the description, or basically you can write us a comment down below this video. So yeah, basically let's just create our class, and now we can finally write a logic for our spawning rooms. Okay, so before anything, we just need to okay, so we need to click on reload all, and finally we can write a logic for spawning rooms. So yeah, let's do that right now. So the first thing that we actually need to do, and let me just take a look at my other project. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do, basically we need to declare some of the variables. Okay, so we need to go to our .header file, and we are going to do that. So but before that we need to delete these comments, so let's do that right now. Actually we don't need them, but I'm going to do that because they are a little bit boring. I'm going to copy this and also delete this public, because I want to avoid to have two publics. So now I have one public. Okay, so basically I think that we're actually going to declare them below this public. So yeah, we're going to do that. So the first variable that we're going to declare will have specifiers of visible anywhere, and we are just going to put them in a category that is, it will be just rooms. Okay, and now we need to type t subclass of, okay, so less greater, and we are just going to call this starter room. So basically between this less and greater signs, so we need to basically specify the class of our starter room. I hope that you remember that I said that we are for now going to use dungeon room 1 as our starter room. Okay, so basically we need to pass in the class of that dungeon room 1. Okay, so that will be ARB underscore dungeon room 1. But before that, in order to use that class, we need to import a reference to that class. So we can do that by here above view class typing class and then ARB underscore dungeon room 1. Okay, and basically. Okay, so let's go to our Unreal Engine and I'm going to close the Unreal Engine. I'm going to compile my code and I'm going to launch the Unreal Engine in order to show you why we have declared this variable like this. So why we are typing this T subclass of and then this class right here. So let me just now launch our Unreal Engine. And here we are inside our Unreal Engine. So the next thing that we need to do is basically to create a blueprint based child class from this dungeon generator. So right click on that class. We are just going to create a blueprint class based on dungeon generator. We are going to store it inside the pdg underscore files and I'm going to name it bp underscore something like okay, just the dungeon generator and I'm going to create it. So I'm going to close it and now if I go to my pdg underscore files and if I drag it to our level on the right side you will see that we have these category rooms and inside that starter room we have this drop down menu that I cannot just click. Okay, so I assume that I gave wrong specifiers to our declaration, but never mind. And later, for this starter room, from the drop-down menu, we are going to select our room that we want to be basically a starter room. So that will be this BP underscore dungeon room 1. And yeah, basically that's the reason. Why we are basically declaring that variable with this T subclass of. I'm not going to explain, I don't know, something like formal definition. I'm just going to show you an example and I hope you will understand it well because I'm not I don't know, such a genius. I'm just here to help you about something and that's it. So yeah, but basically that's the reason why we are declaring that variable like this. And yeah, basically we don't need to give it a specifier of visible anywhere, but edit anywhere. Okay, so basically we need to declare a similar variable, another similar variable, but here we're just going to delete this second line of code. We need to type T array, then less greater, T subclass of, and then another less greater, a room base. Okay, so we're going to name it something like rooms to be spawned. Okay, I think that's pretty alright, that will make sense to you. And we need to import that class, so just here above view class we're going to type a room base. Okay, so rooms to be spawned, what I have did wrong. Okay, so it needs to be outside, not inside those signs. And semicolon on the end, don't forget that, otherwise you're going to get an error and then checking what's wrong for an hour. So yeah, and now let me again show you what we did, so how we are going to basically choose a starter room and what we have did here. So again, let's basically build our code or compile it, and after that let's just launch it. Okay, so here we are in our Unreal Engine, and basically if I drag my BP dungeon room to the level, you will see on the right side that now I can finally choose my starter room. So from the drop down menu I'm going to choose that our BP underscore dungeon room 1 is starter room, and if you take a closer look now we have these rooms to be spawned. Hello guys, Nicholas from the future here. I noticed that I didn't explain some things Very good. So basically, in that array, we are going to specify all the rooms that we want to be basically spawned. So each time when we are spawning a new room, we are going to get a random room from that array. So basically that T subclass of variable, we are just going to set those rooms that we want to be spawned, and each time when we want to spawn the new room, a random room is going to get spawned from that list. Okay, so you get the point. So basically that is the same thing like this starter room, but the main difference is that this is actually an array, and like I said, and I'm going to say it again, and I know that I talk too much, but I'm just trying to explain as much as I can. We are later going to get the random value from this array right here. So yeah, let's just here the first element of this array is going to be BP underscore dungeon room 1. The second one will be dungeon room 2, but third one will be dungeon room 3, and all of them needs to be blueprints. The fourth one will be BP underscore dungeon room 4, and the last one will be BP underscore dungeon room 5. Okay, so basically we are getting, we have declared this array, and now we know what blueprints we need to spawn, and we are going to get those values and do some things, and we are going to from those values spawn the specified room that we want. Okay, so now let's do that right now. Let's go to our code editor, but before that we need to basically save selected. So we are on our last few steps in this part. So the next thing that we are going to do is basically we are going to declare a new function. So it will be just a void function that is not going to return anything. It is just going to do some work for us, and it is going to be called spawn starter room. Okay, so pretty good name. I hope you get the point what it is. It is just spawning the starter room. Okay, so let's create a definition for that function, and we're just going to move it down there, and let me just see in my other project. Okay, so now we need to spawn our starter room. So the way we are going to do that, here we are just going to declare a new variable that will be a type of ARB underscore dungeon room 1. Why ARB underscore dungeon room 1? Because like I said, we are using dungeon room 1 as a starter room. Okay, so don't forget an asterisk, and we are going to call it something like starter room. Okay, so that makes the most sense. The next thing that we need to type is this, and then this minus greater sign. We need to get world context, so just by typing get world. Okay, now we need to type again minus greater, and from that we need to get a function that is called spawn actor. Okay, now we need less and greater sign, and in between them we need a class basically of an item that we are spawning. So that is this ARB underscore dungeon room 1. And basically here we just need to pass in this starter room. So from that starter room, basically this line of code will get a blueprint that needs to be spawned, basically that we have set inside our Unreal editor, and basically we are getting this red line right here. So let me see what's wrong with this. Okay, so let me see what's wrong. So maybe we just need to specify location, but we still need to include this class right here, okay, in order to use that class. Okay, so basically the next thing that we are going to do is get that starter room, and from that starter room we need to get a function that is called set actor location, and we need to get this, so this class right here, and we need to get actor location. So wherever we drag our dungeon generator to our level, in that place our room, starter room is going to be spawned. So we just need to get actor location, and also or actually for now I think that we can test it out and finally fix this red line right here. So let me just compile my code and let's see what's wrong. Okay, so I see what's the problem, and I don't know, my mouth is just working faster than my brain. Okay, so basically this variable right here, starter room, is the same as this starter room right here. So I'm just going to rename it to be something like spawned starter room, and then we are getting this this red line right here. So yeah, because I just need to get this spawned starter room and not starter room. So just type set actor location, and like I said, we're just going to get actor location, so from this class right here. So I'm going to say it again, whenever we are dragging our dungeon generator on the level, in that place our room is going to be spawned. And finally, I think or actually another thing, there's another thing that we need to do before testing it out. So we need to call that function, or basically we are not going to see anything. So we have created a function, and behind that function we have created a logic for that function. So basically we need to call that function. We are going to call that function inside the begin play, and we will see that whenever we start our simulation and our dungeon generator is basically dragged on our level, you will see that this function is going to be initialized. Now finally, let's basically compile our code, and after that let's launch our Unreal Engine. So yeah. Okay, so here we are in our Unreal Engine. Is this the dungeon generator that I have dragged before? Yeah, it is. So I'm just going to do something like this. Let me just do, and if I just begin my simulation, oops, not actually that, but I'm going to do something like this. You will see that actually my room is getting spawned. So yeah, basically we have did it. We have spawned our starter room, and basically now we need to get the random, basically one of these three exits, and that will be basically a random exit, and we need to basically attach one of rooms that are here in the arrays, and also we are going to get the random value of this array right here, and you are going to see that you're going to see what we are going to do. So basically, if you don't understand now what I mean, okay. So let's basically close our Unreal Engine, and we need to save selected. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do is basically we are going to declare a new function. So here in the .header file of our dungeon generator class, we're just going to declare a new function that is going to be a void function, so function that is not returning anything. And basically let's name it spawn next room. So yeah, basically from the name you see that this function is going to spawn the next room. Okay, so let's just create a definition for that function. Okay, so for now we're just going to implement a logic that one room is spawned and attached to this start spawned room. Okay, so starter room. Okay. And basically, let me just see in my other project what we are going to do here. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do is basically from this spawn starter room, not actually that. Let me just delete this whole line of code. We just need this spawn starter room. Okay, and we need to get exit points folder. And from that we need to get a function that is called get children components. Okay, and basically it is going to take in two parameters. So the one is boolean, actually the first one is boolean, include all descendants, Basically, that means that it is going to also include grandchildren and etc. So not just children, but grandchildren and etc. You get the point, and we are going to set it to false anyway. We don't have any grandchildrens. And the second one is basically array, where we are going to where we are going to attach those children components from that exit points folder. So we are going basically to pass in those arrow components inside some random array that we are going to create. So yeah, basically let's do that right now. We are going to create an array that is called exits, and basically let's go to our .header file, and here above our declaration of our functions, we are just going to type t array. For the class, we need uSyn component, and like I said, we are going to name it exits. Okay, so now I think the red line will disappear, and it is going to disappear actually. So the next thing that we are going to do is basically here we are just going to copy this line of code right here. We are just going to paste it for the class, or actually I'm first going to change the name of our spawned room. I'm going to basically name it latest spawned room. Okay, so basically from the name you get the point what it is. And basically here I'm just going to change a class to be a room base. Okay, and I actually don't know if I showed it or not. I'm just going to delete this, but yeah, here you need to include a room base. So hashtag include a room base, room base.header. Okay, so just like that. And actually I have already recorded this part right here, but I saw that I didn't explain some things very well, so I'm just going to basically record again. So yeah, here it is very important to include this room-base.header in order to use this class right here. And here we need to pass in this class right here. So basically why we are using this class right here, basically we want to get a random room from this rooms to be spawned array. Okay, so we cannot just use ARB_dungeon room 1 or dungeon room 3, 5, and etc. We need a universal class for all of these rooms. So basically the parent class of all of these rooms is a room based class. So yeah, basically you get to the point why we are using. And if you don't, please reach to us throughout Discord server, and we are going to help you. Okay. So now we need to get a random room from these rooms to be spawned, and we need to pass in these rooms to be spawned, and we need those brackets. Inside those brackets we need to type rand, and then we need this percent or modo sign. Okay, and basically we need to get these rooms to be spawned, and we need to type .num. So what we are doing here, we are just basically getting the length of our array rooms to be spawned, and in that way, so if you do something like this, you can get a random value from some array. Okay, so basically this rand function percent, or basically modo, by the length of that array, and you're getting every time a random element from that array. Okay, and now we need to set it to a random location. So like we did here, we are just going to copy this line of code. I'm just going to change it for latest spawned room, and for the location we need basically a random arrow component location. So yeah, let me just basically where we are going to do that, let me see. Okay, so here we just need to type uSyn component, and I'm going to name it something like selected exit point. Okay, so basically selected exit point where our lattice room is going to be spawned. We need equals exits. And then, like we did here, we are just going to do the same process. We're going to get a random arrow component from array exits, and if you remember, I have attached all of the components inside this exits array in this line of code right here. So basically, we're doing the same process. We are typing rand. We need this percent sign, and we need basically to get the length of this exits array. Okay, and now I'm just going to basically, let me see my other project. Here I'm going to pass in selected exit point, and I'm going to get. So what's this? Why I'm not getting any suggestions? So okay, so let me see in my other project. Why is that? Okay, so expected maybe because of this. Okay, and the red line will disappear. And now no suitable. Okay, constructor exits to convert from using component. Okay, so we just need to get component location. Okay, and yeah, basically the red line will disappear. So we need to get component location, and you will see that it returns location of the component in world space. And another thing that we need to do is basically we need to set the actor rotation, and basically you don't need. So actually what I want to say is that for now you can avoid this line of code if you want to see what is lattice spawned room is going to do if we don't basically specify the component rotation of our selected exit point. So yeah. I'm not going to waste time on that. You can basically check that by yourself. So we need to get the component rotation, so same as location, but here we are getting the rotation. And guys, I think that finally we can now call this function inside our begin play below our spawn starter room, and we can finally test it out. So now let's basically compile our code, and after that I'm just going to launch my Unreal Engine. Okay guys, so here we are in our Unreal Engine. So the one thing that I'm going to do in order to check how our rooms are spawning, so I'm just going to click on these three dots right there, and I'm going to click on this simulate, and basically you will see that our rooms are getting spawned. And why are our rooms getting spawned like this? So I actually don't know why, so let me just see. Okay guys, so I have found what was wrong. So though that was a mistake of mine, I just basically didn't notice at the moment. So we need to basically do some changes for all of our BP rooms. So that's not a big deal, don't worry. So let's do that for our dungeon 1. Here in the viewport, we are basically going for the perspective to click top, and basically the one thing that we need to do is that this red line needs to slice throughout the center of our room. So yeah, we need to do that. And let me just select everything. So okay, I'm just going to set grid size to be something like 50. Okay, not 50, but maybe something more, 100 maybe. And I'm going to do something like this, and now our room is centered. Okay, we need to do that for our RB Dungeon Room 2. So let's open full blueprint editor, view. For the perspective we want top. I'm going to select everything, and I'm going to move it to be in the center. So it is slicing throughout the center of our Dungeon Room 2. So let's save it. Now we need to do that for Dungeon Room 3. So open full blueprint editor. Let's go to viewport. For the perspective, we want top. Basically, I'm going to select everything. I'm just going to move it to slice it throughout the center of our room. Compile it, again save it. The same process for the other two. So let's just open full blueprint editor. Let's click on viewport. For the perspective, we want top. Basically, okay, so this is pretty fine. Let's compile it, and basically we need to do that for Dungeon Room 5. So let's just open full blueprint editor, click on the viewport. For the perspective, we're going to select top, and again the same process. We are just going to set it something like this. So yeah, again I'm saying that this red line needs to slice throughout the center of our rooms. So let's compile it. Now we can finally exit from our blueprints, and let's test it out. Okay, so still we are getting this, so I don't know what's wrong. We are still getting this behavior right here. So let me see. So if you take a look, this room is going to be spawned pretty fine. But if we try to okay, so this room is not spawning. This room is spawning pretty fine too. So okay, so this not. This room is spawning pretty fine. Okay, so let's check again what's wrong. I don't know what it is. Let's go to perspective mode. And actually, I don't know actually what's wrong. Okay, so let me just see what I have did here. Let me go into my Dungeon Room 2. Let me go to perspective to top mode. I'm going to click on default scene root, and yeah, if you take a closer look, our default scene root is on the center. So that's the thing that we need to fix. We need for the default scene root to, okay, so I'm going to move it like this. So I'm glad that this happened, because maybe if that happened to you, you wouldn't understand what's wrong. So basically, if I click on my default scene root, you will see that default scene root is the center of, basically it is the X direction is slicing throughout the center of our room. So I'm actually glad that that happened. I didn't expect that, but again, like I said, basically if that happened to you, maybe you wouldn't understand it, okay? So we need to do that for Dungeon Room 4. Okay, so let's go to our viewport. For the perspective, let's go to top. Let me see where is our default scene root. So let me just select everything. Let's back it to the place, and let's select everything just except for our default scene root, which will be in this center of coordinate system, okay, of this coordinate system. Let's compile it, and let's do for our latest room, so that is Dungeon Room 5. So for the perspective, let's go to top, and let's see where is our default scene root. There it is. We're just going to select everything. I'm just going to move it like here, and I'm going to select everything except default scene root, which I'm going to move this right here. And if I click on default scene root, you will see that that is in the center of our coordinate system. Let's save it, and finally, I hope that now we are getting the behavior that we want. And if I click play, okay, so now our second room is spawned pretty fine. Okay, so it is spawned pretty fine in the random location. Okay, so yeah, you will see that we are also spawning this different shape room, something like a bridge, and that's pretty fine. Okay, and if I basically test it out a couple of times, you will see that we have finally fixed our bug, and that we have basically created some kind of starter spawn rooms logic. And guys, I know that this was a long part, but we have did all the work that we have for this part. And I really just want to say that I'm proud of you, that you came this far. We are already, along with the first part, we are already about 2 hours in. So I just want to congratulation to you, and basically that will be it for this part. I just want to thank you for all support that you are giving to us. That really means a lot to us, because that gives us motivation to even to basically create even a better tutorials and series in the future. So I think that I don't have anything else to say. In the next part, we are going to create advanced logic for spawning our rooms. Also, we are going to check for overlap, if the latest spawned room is overlapping with the room, with some room that is spawned earlier, and if it is, we're just going to remove that latest spawned room and spawn it somewhere else. And also we are going to do some additional things that you're going to see in the next part. So don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and the most important thing, if anything is unclear, feel free to reach to us, and we are going to help you. So thanks for watching, and see you in the next part.